Hey everyone, welcome to this mini lesson on how to write about the image in your argument analysis response. It's part of Unit 3, Area of Study 2, Analysing Argument. Before we begin, I just want to make one thing very clear. It's that if you neglect to talk about the image, there is a definite ceiling on how well you can do. So it is absolutely pivotal that you learn to analyse the image and also that you learn how to incorporate this analysis into your discussion, ideally devoting a whole paragraph to its deconstruction. If you do this, I have complete faith that you will burst through that glass ceiling and start to achieve some really high marks. By the end of this video, you will understand what to include in the image analysis paragraph, as well as how to structure this particular paragraph of your response. So, what should be incorporated into an image analysis paragraph? Well, the first thing you've got to figure out is what visual arguments are being presented in this image. Work out what the image is saying or arguing. If you need help with this, there is a video that we've created to help you. What techniques has the photographer used, or what specific components of the image contribute to the argument? It's not enough just to say what you see. You have to say why it reinforces the argument. And then finally, you might like to comment on how the image complements the written argument, as well as where the image is placed. So, without further ado, let's have a look at this image in the context of this text. If you've already heard me read it out, please skip ahead. An NBA player could jump over you. To my fellow content producers, today you all left me astonished. I still cannot believe how many of you were adamant that NBA players are overrated and one-dimensional, and that tennis players are the best athletes in the world. I have followed the NBA for my whole life, and I love it. I do not understand how you do not appreciate the athletic splendor of NBA players. They are as tall as Eureka Tower and can jump like kangaroos. Just look up LeBron James. At 206 centimeters tall and weighing 113 kilograms, he can jump 101 centimeters in the air without a run-up. He can also dribble, pass, and shoot at an unbelievable level. An outlier, you say? Well, treat yourselves to the highlight packages of Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Zion Williamson, just to name a few. Please feel free to return serve, but my best guess is LeBron James could jump over Roger Federer whilst holding Rafael Nadal above his head. Great. So here's the image in a closer focus. It shows Nate Robinson jumping over Dwight Howard in the dunk contest. It's pretty spectacular. Nate Robinson's only 5'6" and Dwight is 6'10". Okay, so try to answer each of these questions by yourself, and then in a few seconds, I'll chime in with my answers. All right, so the argument in the context of this email is that NBA athletes are extraordinary because they can literally jump over people. If Nate Robinson can jump over Dwight Howard, the smallest can jump over one of the tallest, then I'm sure the average NBA player could jump over me, you, or the reader. Amazing. Now, what specific components of the image contribute to the argument? Well, one specific component is that Robinson is not pushing off Howard. Both hands are clearly in the air. Why does this reinforce the argument? Well, it shows that he needs no support or help to jump that high. He's just naturally that talented. Another specific component is the fact that his feet are in the image, in the middle of the image. Why does this reinforce meaning? Well, this really draws your attention to the gap between his feet and the ground. A further component is that the camera is looking up at the image. Why does this reinforce the argument? Well, it accentuates the height of Howard and thus the accomplishment of Robinson. We could go forever here. See how much you can find and leave it in the comments if you like. How does this complement the written argument? Why was it chosen? Well, the title literally says an NBA player could jump over you. And if the smallest person in the NBA can jump over the tallest, then now I have to believe the title, don't I? Right. I'm going to pause again. Let's see if you can turn this into a complete paragraph. All right, so this is what I came up with. James's use of the image is intended to reinforce his claim that NBA athletes have an extraordinary leaping ability. James has chosen an image in which the camera is directed up at the action, which accentuates Dwight Howard's height and in turn Nate Robinson's jumping ability, an intentional decision to affirm his argument that NBA players are exceptional leapers. This is reinforced by the fact that Robinson is not pushing off Howard in the image, which suggests that he was able to reach this height without any assistance. The fact that Robinson's feet are situated directly in the middle of the image leads the viewer to recognize the distance between his feet and the floor, compelling the reader to appreciate Robinson's athletic splendor. Further, the reader would likely perceive the title, "An NBA player could jump over you," as a pun, but incorporating this image would transform the statement into fact and in turn compel them to doubt their knowledge about the athleticism of NBA players. Placing this image at the start and positioning the readers to doubt their knowledge of the topic is a deliberate attempt by James to make the students more responsive to the subsequent supporting arguments, or the contributors more responsive to the subsequent supporting arguments. Right, so let's highlight all these key parts. What visual arguments are presented in this image? Good. What specific components? Why do these specific components reinforce the argument? Where is the image placed? And how does this image complement the written argument? As you can see here, every single word in this paragraph falls into one of these 5 categories. So I am absolutely confident that if you follow these 5 questions, you use this framework, you will do well. You will produce a paragraph on the image that is excellent. Okay, my final tip for writing about the image in the argument analysis response, or any paragraph for that matter, is to just do practice paragraphs and then highlight each of the sections to ensure that you have included everything. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next video on how to write the conclusion.